Man, this is a process, but hope y'all really enjoyed y'all week. Y'all killed y'all week. I want to say thank you. Thank you everybody that's still standing. Thank you everybody that's still moving. Thank you to everybody that's still doing what they're doing every day, because you don't hear it a lot, if at all, from the people that's around you daily. You don't. You can't lie to me and tell me that you do, because you don't. You know you don't. But I want to say thank you to everybody that's killing it, that's moving, that wakes up every day with a purpose, motivation, and a drive to keep that day going, to keep that life moving, from becoming stagnant with what you're doing every day. Even if it's once or twice a week you're doing something different, or 2 times a day you're doing something different, you're performing some type of self-care um, that keeps you from being stagnant within your life. I really do appreciate you all. I love you all. To everybody that's grinding, not the same definition as we were as kids, but as we are as adults. Because grinding when we was kids was in a middle school homecoming dance or a high school homecoming dance, or whatever the case may be, and you just dry hunching zipper zipper. You grinding zipper zipper. Now you're grinding as an adult, which is completely overrated. I might say myself, but it is what it is. We do appreciate y'all. We love y'all for tuning in. We thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you're performing some type of self-care at least once or twice a week. Some of y'all performing self-care every day, which is great. Whether it's spending an extra 10 minutes in the shower, soaking your feet, soaking your hands. You know, you don't want to walk around with crusty feet and crusty hands. I really do appreciate y'all, and we love y'all for everything that y'all do. Um, Brother's in where he's in. Let me put it that way. Y'all nosy mojos. Brother's where he's at. Hopefully he's taking care of his business and getting everything grinding and everything taken care of. I know he is. I know he is. But see, now I can see the comments. Last week I couldn't see the comments because I was like a guest added in. I don't know. I don't know how it is or how it goes. Still trying to figure out this thing, this particular streaming set. But it is what it is. Today we're gonna talk about, man. First, um, let's get out the way the simple fact that um, life is hard. Fall in love with the journey instead of the ending, like we were saying last week. Fall in love with the journey. It'll make it. I ain't gonna say easier, but it'll make it more livable. I guess you can say. When it really comes down to it, I want to talk about today. I don't know if Bud's gonna be able to jump on. Hopefully he will, because I know he has a lot to say about this particular topic. I've had this conversation last week, I think it was. Um, First off, uh, let's let's get into it, because it seems how it's only me. It's not going to be as long. If it's only me, if Brother's going to jump in, he can. He will. But for y'all folks that are really out here thinking that someone else's habits is on purposely, excuse me, purposely triggering you, you're wrong. You're absolutely 100% wrong. He's on the road. Be safe on that road, man. Um, for these people out here, hey, Mother Nature, how's it going? That are thinking that people that live their everyday life purposely is triggering you, especially if you get into a new situation with someone. Let's talk about that. Um, when you get into a new situation with someone, you don't even know all your triggers. Nobody knows all their triggers. Excuse me. I had to since Bruh's not going to be there, I had to hit that for him. Their habits is theirs. Your triggers are yours. There's yours. Is there really a certain way, or unless you had that conversation with that particular person? Now, if you have that conversation with that particular person or whoever it is, your significant other in your life, and they continue to do their habits, not immediately, because not everything is done in one day, but over time, if they haven't changed those habits, then it's almost like they're doing it on purpose. But when it really comes down to initially, in the beginning, that person's habits are not your triggers. They're not doing it on purpose. I would hope not. I hope we wake up and become, or we are, human beings at heart, which is what we are, and we act like someone else is actually important to us, or even if it's a complete stranger. I don't know that mother, what's up, G Code? I don't know that motherfucker and this, that, and the other. That doesn't mean you can't be a human being at the end of the day. Got it? Yeah, like Candace said, you got to give a grace period in the beginning. Now, how long is that grace period, though? Is it wrapped up in the simple fact that it depends on what the trigger is or the habit is, or is it something that those two people consider a grace period because they came together on it at the end of the day, instead of saying, well, this motherfucker got 2 months. This motherfucker got 2 months to cut that shit out around me. This, that, and the other. Or is shorty just keep going to the bathroom? Like, I take my phone to the bathroom. I don't know about anybody else. Granted, the bathroom is just, it is what it is. But I take my phone to the bathroom because if I'm sitting on the toilet, I don't want to be bored. Yeah, we grew up with that, but now some people used to take their Game Boy to the bathroom. If you don't know what a Game Boy is, you might be just a little too young. But some people take their phone to the bathroom because they don't want to be bored on a pot. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, whatever the case may be, replying to text messages. I don't talk on the phone when I'm in the bathroom, but some people do. I don't understand that process, but that's just some people. If I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm not concentrating on no phone call. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. And another thing about sitting on the toilet, I'm gonna run this by y'all, then I'm gonna get back on it. I'm gonna let y'all think on this, and then I'm gonna get back on it. When you're sitting down on the toilet, do you take one leg out of your underwear or your clothes, or do you take both, or do you not do it at all? I'm just asking because you're stretching out the spandex, because your feet all the way out here, and your waist is in here. Anyway, do you give a grace period? I also want to ask for those people that don't, or those couples are in a situation that got the blacked out screen protector on their phone, where you can, if you're at a certain angle, you can't see what's going on. And for those people that look at their significant other phone, what if that's a trigger for somebody? What if he was in a whole relationship, or she was in a whole relationship, where this person's phone is always going through? Just because you are husband and wife, or whatever case may be, there's a certain level of privacy that you should get. Or am I wrong? I could be wrong. Like, yeah, you got the passcode. Yeah, you got the face ID or a fingerprint or whatever it is. Does that, just because you got the ability, does that give you the right to go to that person's phone? I don't know. I'm confused as to it, but it's up to y'all and y'all's situation. Like, some of y'all people like, fuck it, it's my man or it's my woman, I'm going through their phone. I've never been the type to look at or go through a person's phone. And this is going to be a two-parter. And about halfway through, I'm going to switch subjects. So y'all just, y'all stay with me. It's confusing to me. Like, do you have a grace period, like Candy Girl said, Gotta give grace in the beginning. How long is that? How far do you go out with that? Do you cast your line like 2 or 3 months out? It's like 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 days? Like toothpaste in the sink is a trigger for me. That has to be nipped in the bud. If we live together, that has to be nipped in the bud immediately. Immediately. I'm not about to sit in the house with toothpaste in the sink like there's a 6-year-old running around or a child running around. It just is what it is. I have a thing about toothpaste in the sink. It's just an issue for me. Everybody has their own things, their own quirks in life. Mine is toothpaste in the sink. It just is what it is. Hey, another thing is I sleep with the fan on. The fan and TV. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and get that out of the way. The fan and the TV. If you can't sleep with the TV on or the fan on, is that an issue for you? If you go through said person's phone and you find what you were looking for, are you going to leave and end the relationship or just cause an argument? That's a very good question. If you're just going to cause an argument, what's the point of going through the phone? Look, these are hard questions that y'all necessarily need to answer within yourself first. Answer them within yourself, then with your significant other. Answer it in the mirror first, then with your significant other. Are you just going to call just an argument? Just to go back and forth? Because you one of those type of people that strive off of drama, that live off of issues? Or are you going to end the relationship and just leave? That's a very good question. What's the point of going through the phone in the first place if you just going to cause an argument? That's a very good question. Are you in there or are you not? I mean, it's one of those things that you got to really think about in yourself. Ms. Bodine says, if past relationships where I need to go through someone's phone before I feel I need to go through a phone, I'm going. No, that's for sure. If I feel like, because that right there, no, that's a very valid point. If I feel like I can't trust a person where something in my gut or something in my chest is telling me that I need to go through that, or if I have the thought process or the feeling to go through that person's phone when they leave or when they go to the bathroom, I'll take my phone, or when they go, when they're cooking or doing whatever, they don't have phone in their hand. If I feel like I need to go through that phone, if I have a feeling I'm out. Peace. We are playing, and we playing very close to the trust value. Like, how much trust do you value? That's a good question. You saying it, brother. No need to respond to my comment. For it. If you are in a position to where you feel like you need to go through that person's phone, or that person's phone is enticing to you, you want to see what this person is looking at every day. You want to see what this person is looking at. Y'all sitting on the couch watching TV. This person's always laughing, kiki, and ha ha. You trying to figure out he don't never share the shit with me. What's going on? What's so funny? Is it IG? Is it Facebook? Is it text message he's getting from somebody else? Like, what is it? And if you go through that significant other's phone, this is riddle me this, Batman. If you go through that person's phone and you find absolutely nothing, what do? Do you tell that person that you went through their phone and found nothing? Are you going to be honest? Or you just going to play it to the left like it never happened? You have already developed a sense of lack of trust and an increase of insecurities. And that road is a road. It don't stop. It don't. It's like from the east to the west. Then once it starts, it never stops. Nope, they just gonna be extra nice. Ha! You right. You right. If you in a situation where a motherfucker ain't never cooked for you and all of a sudden they cooking for you, those antennas need to go up. They need to go up. For sure. Now, bing! What's going on? What's going on in here? But then you gotta ask yourself, do you ask what's up or what's going on, knowing that they're gonna tell you nothing? I'm good. Or do you risk bringing that up to start an argument? But it is, your insecurities are yours. Those are yours to shoulder. You bring them into the situation. This is what she said. Jackie said, you bring them into the situation as yours. Now, if you put your insecurities out, the ones that you know that you have, insecurities and triggers are pretty much the same thing. There's a slash in there. It's pretty much the same thing. If not, prove me wrong. And I have no problem whatsoever to tipping my hat to you whatsoever. I'm not that type of person. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Not by opinion. Because that's what this is, just fact. Fact, tell me I'm wrong. When it comes down to it, you come into your situation with your insecurities. That person doesn't know your triggers. You don't know your triggers. That person, we've had this conversation before, you don't know your triggers, but it just seems to keep coming up on my spirit and my soul. It's a simple fact that if that person does not know, can you fault them for doing what they're doing? You mad at them? No, you can't be, really. You can't be. Really, you can, but you can't. If that makes any sense. Like, you can be upset about what they're doing, but can you be upset because you didn't tell them it's a trigger for you? Or you didn't know it was a trigger for you? If you just found out it was a trigger for you, then why don't you tell them? Like, yo, I didn't even know this was it, but I just found out that it's a trigger. I just found out that it hits me a certain kind of way, that it brings up thought processes and feelings from months ago, years ago, when I was in this relationship with such and such, or I was getting down with such and such. The fact that I'm on here and you always on your phone like this is a trigger for me. You have to find someone who is able to learn and grow with you through these triggers. This is fair. And if they don't do that, they provoke those, then you know it's not alignment. You know you're not in tune. You know you're not. If they continue to press your buttons, if you are with a person that presses your buttons purposely, get out. Get out. There's no need for you to be there. There is no need for you to be there. Because this person is pushing your buttons purposely. Like, they know what's going on. They know what makes you feel a certain kind of way. They know what hits you on top of your head. They know what rattles your helmet. And they are pushing buttons like, do, 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 do. What does this button do? You DD off Dexter's Lab. Hey, that's another old reference. Man, what does this button do? Like, you know what the buttons do. And you push them on purpose? One, fuck you as a human being. I'm just going to tell you. Because you as a human being, you're not in tune with yourself if you're pushing someone else's buttons on purpose. You're not. You can be. You need to sit back, figure out what's going on with you, and then go from there. But if you push somebody's buttons on purpose, fuck you. Fuck you. And I'll say that shit with everything I got in my chest. I say it with chest. Fuck you. Because you're doing it on purpose. Now, if you accidentally, that's Dexter's Laboratory, I use that shit for sure. But if you're the type of person that finds out what triggers somebody, what their buttons are, what pushes them, and you go on with that, and don't do it because you feel some kind of way about that person, hats off to you. Hats off to you. Because I know buttons. I know buzz buttons. A lot of them. More than a lot of y'all know. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about getting close to somebody. You have the ability to either help them or hurt them. Those are your two options. Your only options. If you're not helping them, you're hurting them. And if you're not hurting them, then you're helping them. Or, well, I ain't gonna say only two options, but you got that one in the middle where you just helping them be stagnant about their situation, about their life, about their emotions, their spiritual emotions, mental emotions. Either way it go. If you know about a person more than you lead on, well, not lead on, but they've taught you about them, they give you the ability to hurt them. Don't take advantage of that, folks. Folks, don't take advantage of the ability to hurt somebody. Why are you taking advantage of people? Because it makes you feel good as a person on the inside? Then you need to check your shit. You need to sit down and check your shit. Because there's no reason whatsoever for you to be hurting somebody on purpose. Now, if it's truly on accident, 100% honestly, on accident, then that's different. But if you hurt somebody on accident, that means you won't do it again. If you do it on purpose, yeah, you're going to do it again. Go ahead and get out. There ain't no point in waiting for that person to, because if they're going to grow and have the ability to be a better person, they can do that on their own. In my opinion, they can do that on their own. Now, I've been in some situations where I fucked up on purpose. It is what it is. If somebody decides to just cut me off, I can't be mad at them. Now you mad at somebody for cutting you off because you fucked up. Because you mad at a person or persons because their reactions to some shit you did, to the disrespect that you laid out. You mad at them because they responded the way that they responded? You can't tell somebody how to respond to something. How they react to you and your disrespect? You gonna be mad at them? How? I'll wait. How? That's the thing about vulnerability. I'm reading a comment. That's the thing about vulnerability. It can open you up to amazing things, but it also can open you up to the deepest hurt, for sure. You've ever felt, for sure. It's why people struggle with vulnerability. This is a fair point, folks. In this comment right here is the truth and nothing but the truth. Call her a liar. I dare you. Because there is nothing to lie in that statement at all. Vulnerability can do one or two things. It can open you up to the most amazing experiences in life, but then also can open you up to the deepest cut, to the deepest kind of hurt by giving that person the ability to know you. That's why people struggle with it, for sure. 100%. That's why people struggle with wanting or letting someone get to know them. You want to so bad. You want to. But you've been in situations where this person knows at least a good bit of you, at least 85 to 90%, and they used every percent of that against you. And you got the biggest heart in the world. They take advantage of it. Because people will take advantage of you. But at the same time, the flip side of that same coin, you got people that are out there right now that will better your life in every way possible. In every way possible. But you got to struggle with the vulnerability of 50% chance, 50-50. This person over here is going to take advantage of it any chance they get. This person over here is going to make me a better person. What is it going to be? What is it going to be? In all honesty, because you sitting up here trying to figure out what's going on in life. Because don't nobody have life figured out, even Absolute. I put a post on Jack and Jen just the other day that time won't change, death will. Look, if you don't care me about while I'm living, don't give a damn about me while I'm gone. I'm gone now. So what's the point of caring about me now? What's the point of crying now? You open yourself with everyone that you come across, not come across, but are in situations with like that. If you care to the point to where this person can either help or hurt you, that's life. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't do nothing about what people do. But you can do something about what you do. You can react. I ain't gonna say you can react, but you will react when it really comes down to it, to what people do to you. You can't be mad at somebody because of how they react to your disrespect, like I said earlier. That part is out the way. When it really comes down to button pushers. If you got a button pusher in your life and they always pushing your negative buttons, go ahead and get rid of them. Go ahead and get rid of them. Because they're doing it just for sport. Now, I had this conversation the other week with a group of people. So I was able to, it wasn't just one person, so it's not just one option I had when it came down to answers. I had this conversation about, don't worry about where I was. I had this conversation about when is an X not an X? Asking this question. When is an X? When is this person? Does it, is it time? Is it how y'all decided to go separate ways? Is it how y'all ended? Separate ways and ended is the same thing. What really makes an X an X? Is my question. I want to know through the masses. And I'm pretty sure I don't have a Facebook page. Just because my name is on the Jack and Jen page doesn't mean it's mine. Do I have access to it? Yes. Do I use it? No. Sure don't. But at the same time, when is an X an X? Is it because of how y'all in it? Because it's negatively? Y'all in it positively? Is it an X because you used to be with that person? When is an X an X? I'm gonna let y'all think about that. That might be a show. Matter of fact, it is gonna be a show when Blood gets on. It's gonna be a show. When is it X and X? What is causing? Now, a lot of people answer, you don't put yourself in that situation. If that person ever comes back in your life, you don't put yourself in that situation because of the simple fact that the person that you're with now won't understand it. Is it because that person chooses not to understand it? Or is it because you dated that person, regardless of how much time has elapsed since you dated that person? Y'all grown now, you dated in high school. Is that still an X? Do X's in the high school count? I don't know. I'm not for sure. But because that person can have an X, you hold a conversation with that X or with whatever person is, and it's okay. But you hold a conversation with that person with one of yours, then it's a whole issue. I don't understand that. But at the same time, it is what it is, or it ain't what it ain't. Explain it to me, because I'm still trying to figure it out. Regardless of how old I am, I ain't gonna tell nobody. Yeah, probably already know. But I'm still trying to figure it out. When is the situation, or who deems the situation too sketchy, to say the least? Do you not trust that person enough? Do you take advantage of that person's trust in you by going out? Not even necessarily going out, not even seeing this person at all. Just talking to them, regardless of how much you talk to them. I'm confused where it lays at, where it stops at. You can date somebody 15 years ago and run into them. Is that an ex? Or it's just that an old friend? I'm confused. I don't get it. I'm gonna let y'all think about that one. Because I feel like that would need some thought. There's some thought process with that. That comes with that, for real, for sure. When it really comes down to it, is it individual's preference or not? Let me let y'all think about that. Another thing that I thought about this week that's been on my spirit, we gotta start arguing. We gotta stop, we gotta stop arguing with emotions. You gotta stop. Because in emotional argument, everybody's right. Because your emotions are valid. We can't say that they aren't, because you got to start having conversations logically and rationally when it really comes down to it at the end of the day. Because if you argue with the emotions, you're right, 100%, because your emotions are valid. And I saw this. And it really, really, really sat with me. It really sat with me. Because if you argue with the emotions, what your thought process and what you feel on the inside at the time is right. But then a week later, 2 weeks later, you sit there and think about what you were arguing about. Why? Why not think about it right there? Because you can't, because your emotions. You're in your emotions. You're in your feelings. And people always take the comment in your feelings in a bad way. It's not necessarily always bad. It's not a negative comment. It's a comment, but it's not negative. When it comes down to the simple fact that you wasting time, is a huge thing, because I can't get that back. Because you're wasting time when it comes down to that. Emotionally arguing. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it emotionally arguing instead of arguing logically. Instead of having a logical conversation, you're emotionally arguing, you're wasting time. Because you can sit back with your emotions and really come to the point that you aren't wrong. But you emotionally, if you argue with logic and rationality and some sense of common, then there's a different story. Then we can come to a point. We can come to an agreement to an extent. Think about that as well. Think about that. Think about when does the X stop being an X? Is there always an X? Think about that. Because these are shows coming up. We also need to do another show on mental health. We've already talked about suicide, and we've already talked about PTSD, which is not military affiliated whatsoever. When it really comes down to mental health, now it's a big deal. Back then it wasn't. Where you at? Where you at with your mental health? And this really, really boils down to your self-care. When self-care is becoming a factor in a situation versus it just being you grinding, you surviving versus living. Because we've always been we've always been taught to survive, but we ain't never taught to live life. We've been taught to survive life. Excuse me. Also, this is huge. This is huge in my view. When it really comes down to life. No, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that for when brothers on. But anyway, continue to push forward, not survive but live. When it comes down to life, man, you got hands, and it's gonna throw them. But when I trained very, very shortly, very shortly, because it was kicking my ass. After I got knocked out, man, I was pretty much out of it. It ain't about how many punches you can throw. It's about how many you can take. If you can take a lot and still get back up, man, that's something different than throwing a lot. Because you're throwing a lot, but still only take one to the chin and you out for the count. So keep taking them. Eventually, you're going to get good at what you do. And people look at other folks talking about, man, they make that look so simple. That looks easy to them. You know, this and that. It's because you have no idea. You have no clue what it took for them to get good at what they did or what they're doing. Either way, another thing, and this is just for shits and giggles. If you were a thief, not saying that you are, but if you were, what would you take from someone's home to inconvenience them? I'm not saying set them back. I'm not saying, completely just crush their whole existence, everything they worked hard for, or anything like that, But inconvenience. And this is also on Casamigos page too. So if you don't follow us, follow him. If you follow us, follow him. If you follow him, follow us. I don't know. Just confuse the shit out of myself. But Casamigos or next Thursday, this Thursday. I don't know. Keep in tune with them. Keep in tune with Jack and Janice every week. Casamigos is every other week. Y'all continue to enjoy this Thursday. I've just been clued in. No, but it's this Thursday. Continuing to enjoy your life, enjoy your Sunday, go out and eat. If you don't go out and eat, cook something. If you don't cook something, go out and eat. Hell. Y'all continue to enjoy your day, man. Life is life. Continue to enjoy it. Push through it. Push past it. Can't push past it. But push through it. We continue to enjoy y'all day. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all for following us. This was a short one. Well, really not short. Just short-ish. Either way, y'all continue to enjoy y'all day. Think about what I said. If you don't remember, go back, play it back, look at it again, go through it again, write it down, do whatever, take a picture, screenshot it, whatever the case may be. Screen record it, excuse me, screenshotting it does you absolutely no good. Really, really think about it though. We love y'all. Hey, we'll see y'all next week. Peace and blessings.